it is your girl, and listen, I'm so excited about today. Like, you have no idea. This has been a long time coming. I always talk about videos on my channel that I'm ridiculously excited for. This is the one I'm most excited for, okay? Because today is Baltimore Comic-Con Day 1. And I am so, listen. Baltimore Comic-Con is my absolute favorite Comic-Con. It was the first ever convention that I ever went to. And the fact that I could not go last year after going consecutively for like 6-7 years, I was a little depressy. I was a little stressy. But we're back. And I'm so, listen, I know I keep saying it, I'm so excited. I can't wait to take you guys on this fantastic journey because listen, I've got some surprises in store for y'all. Y'all don't know it, but I know it. And I'm really, really excited about those surprises. So hear me out. Grab yourself a popcorn, get yourself a little blue raspberry slushie, because it's going to be a long one. Let's do this. Hey guys, we finally made it. We're here at Baltimore, and look who I ran into. It is the infamous BeardedComicBro and that Comic Girl meeting.
Let's go! Yes!
It's your first Baltimore Comic-Con.
It is. I'm so excited.
What are you hoping to pick up? Lots of stuff, right?
Stray Dogs trade.
Stray Dogs, that Baltimore exclusive Goosebumps trade. And look who else I found. The one and only ComixKings, Brandon. Like, it's a regular, howdy friends, it's a regular YouTube meeting. You've been to Baltimore, right?
Yes, this is my third time. I'm super excited.
Alright, I got you beat, man. I'm on 7. 7 years running, but
7 years.
Excited. Let's go see what we find, friends. What'd you find, Greg?
Stray Dogs Goosebump trade cover, glow in the dark.
Glow in the dark. It's so cool. We love it.
Oh yeah.
And they just told us they're announcing new books too with
Another
Goosebumps.
one, a Stray Dog and a Department of Truth Goosebumps.
Very exciting. So I'm in trouble. I just spent $60 at one booth on a bunch of trades, but that's okay because that's why we do this. It's my favorite booth. It's the whole reason why I come to this convention. But I have already spent a copious amount of dumb bitch money, as my other half would say. But it's fun. We're having fun. We're going to keep it rolling. We've already seen some really great creators. Let's keep it rolling. I'm now realizing 2 days after Baltimore Comic-Con that I did not film an outro at the convention hall like I fully intended. To be fair, it was a very, Very long day, very exciting day. But considering I haven't done this in about 2 years, let me say, Baltimore Comic-Con came for a fight, and I also came for a fight. But unfortunately, in this fight, Baltimore Comic-Con won. But that is okay, because next year I will be the victor. But you don't want to hear me ramble about this. You want to see the post haul. I want to see the post haul. So, here's the post haul. So Baltimore Comic-Con, that was Baltimore Comic-Con. This is Baltimore Comic-Con. I can't explain. Like, I'm still living off of the rush of a convention hall and just going to a convention in general. Like I said, this is the first big convention I've been to since we unfortunately went into lockdown. And I just gotta say, I walked into that convention hall and I started crying. Like, I literally was in tears because it felt like I had returned home. I felt like I was home again. Like, is that silly to say? Like, I felt like I was home again. There were comic creators everywhere. There were vendors everywhere. There were friends everywhere. And it felt so good to be back. Now, like I said, Baltimore Comic-Con was actually my first ever Comic-Con. Like, little baby Comic Mars, 7 years ago, went to Baltimore Comic-Con and I nearly lost my mind. Nowadays, I kind of feel like a pro, but this year was a little different. They had it in a different part of the convention hall. Things weren't where they normally were. So after being away from it for so long, I was like expecting familiarity, and I did not get that. Now, this year in particular was so special, not only because it was my first year back at con after being away, but because it was the first time I was at a convention as that comic girl. Now, don't get me wrong, that comic girl has kind of been around for a while, but it's the first time I was there since I started my YouTube channel. It was the first time I had been to a show since I started doing my Casually Comic show with Jen every Sunday. So it was a lot of networking. It was a lot of meeting people. And not only that, but I got to meet some incredible friends, guys. Like, if you saw, I got to meet BeardedComicBro Greg, who was one of my BFFs in the comic book industry, and I love Greg so, so much, and being able to hang out with him all day, well, most of the day, pretty much all day, being able to hang out with him all day was just an absolute blast. I also got to see Brandon with ComixKings. I also got to see Gabby, who is also known as the Fantastic Girl. I'm going to leave a link for her in the description below. But it was just so wonderful being able to see and meet so many people that for years, literal years, I've been like talking to and messaging, and to finally put names to faces. But everybody was just so welcoming, and it felt so great to be in the comic book community that we kind of have curated within the past couple years, and to kind of just be there in person. I can't describe enough how awesome it was. I got to see all of my favorite creators. I got to hang out with my buddy Tom King, who I haven't seen him forever, and we got to talk a little bit about Vision, and we got to talk about his Batman run, and of course Mr. Miracle. I got to see Amy Reeder, who I'm a big fan of, and Becky Cloonan. Listen, Becky was the big person that I wanted to see this year. I love Becky Cloonan. I think her artwork is phenomenal. I think her storytelling is phenomenal. I'm still saying that she needs to be on a Batman book, god damn it, but seeing Becky was just absolutely amazing. And of course, I spent so much money at her booth, but it's fine. It's all fine in the safe of comics. Speaking of spending big dumb bitch money, can we talk about how many trades I bought? Because I'm not kidding. When I go to Baltimore Comic-Con every year, I go with one intention in mind, and that is to find the booth. And I don't even know the name of the booth. I just know it's the booth with the big red carpet. My intention every year at Baltimore Comic-Con is to hunt down this booth and to raid their $5 trade sections, you guys. I'm not even kidding. This booth has been my favorite for years. Honestly, it's the reason why my collection is the way that it is, because of these $5 trades. I was digging out trades that had released like 2 weeks prior. I'm not even kidding. Like Haha, which had came out 2 weeks ago, a $17 book. Got it for $5. So I'm really excited about a lot of the books that I've picked up and rounded out my collection. Some of them are books that I read in single issues and now I just wanted in trade. Others are books that Jen or other friends of the Instagram and comic book community have talked about, and I needed to get my hands on them. So wedging them into the bookcase is not going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sure I am going to have lots of financial regrets, but in the end of it, it was all worth it. And you know what's funny is, even though I spent so much money on trades alone, because I did spend a lot of money on trades, I kept walking around the convention center being like, I don't think I've spent enough money yet, despite already blowing past my budget. And I think the reason for that is because if you saw in the post haul, there wasn't as many single issues as there were maybe at my last First State Comic-Con video. And like I said, I kind of go into Baltimore with the intention I'm going to buy trades. When I go to First State Comic-Con or even Galacticon, I have the intention that I'm going to be buying single issues and variants and things like that. However, I did pick up one of my grails, you guys. I finally did it. I finally tracked her down. That's right. Your girl officially owns the first fucking appearance of Amanda Waller. And I'm so, listen, if you know me, you know how much I love the Suicide Squad, the comics, the movie, and everything in between, except for that. But I now own the first appearance of Amanda Waller, and she is best girl. Listen, I love Amanda. I would die for Amanda. I want Amanda to yell at me. Like, that's weird to say, but I just want her to scream at me and tell me that I've been awful. But I now own the first appearance of Amanda Waller, and it's just another check mark off of my list because, like I've said, I've kind of collected a lot of what I want in terms of single issues, especially when we look at DC Comics. I'm now starting to skirt into Marvel, and I'm now buying a bunch of Marvel books for characters that I really like. But I've really been focusing on buying first appearances in terms of those DC comic characters that I love. So at my last convention, I picked up the first appearance of Black Mask. This time I picked up the first appearance of Amanda Waller. I wonder who I'm going to pick up next. Hopefully it doesn't completely kill my budget. One of the things in particular that I kind of wanted to show off is something that really means a lot to me, and this is this little bisexual bi-visibility anthology that was from an indie publisher that I found in Artist Alley. If you guys know, listen, that comic girl, she is the bisexual queen and or the queer comic aunt, however you would like to refer to me. But I am bi, and I'm very proud of being bi, and there's not a ton of bisexual representation out there. So being able to find this little baby in Artist Alley, I'm really, really excited about. I can't wait to dive into it. I've already kind of taken a little bit of peeksies, and the stories all look incredible, and it just feels so great to be represented and to find little gems at this at a convention. That's one of the reasons I love conventions, is finding little gems like this. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I'm already sad and depressy and stressy that Baltimore Comic-Con is over, and now I have to wait a whole nother year for it to come back. But next year it's going to be bigger and better than ever. BeardedComicBro has already said that he's coming out again for Baltimore Comic-Con. I know Brandon's gonna be at Baltimore Comic-Con. I'm trying to get my girl Jen to come out at Baltimore Comic-Con next year. So if y'all want to help your girl out, please go to Jen's social media pages, kindly of course, and tell her she needs to hang out with your girl next year. Because listen, that would just be a dream right there. The day that me and Jen meet, it's literally going to be the end of the universe. So maybe we shouldn't meet, but I still think we should. I just love comic book conventions. I love being able to film comic book conventions, and it was just so much fun this year. I do want to give a huge shout out to my partner, because he not only had to deal with me all weekend, And I get a little crazy during conventions. And I get even more crazy during conventions now that, you know, I'm a comic book YouTuber and a comic book journalist and all of this other comic book stuff. But he honestly was my rock this weekend. I honestly wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He helped me with a lot of the footage, helped me with just a lot of just stuff in general. You know, I'm really, really thankful for him. And if you're watching this, which I hope you are, thank you so much for, you know, putting up with me and all that stuff. Also, he was the cutest little Quentin Quire, and like Kid Omega, like look at him. He's so cute. I'm so proud of him. Listen, your girl doesn't cosplay, but one day, maybe one day. It's too much. It's too much. But before I wrap things up, I just want to take a minute, just a quick minute, because listen, y'all, it's kind of a big thing. You know, if you haven't noticed, my channel recently hit my 2-year anniversary, and I am just so, listen, I'm like over the moon, okay? This whole comic book thing, being a comic book journalist, spreading my love of comic books with everybody, this is something that I've been doing for literally years. Like, listen, that Comic Girl started off as a little baby Tumblr blog, okay? Little baby Tumblr blog. And now it's a YouTube channel, and now it's also partly a live show, and it's just insane. And the support that I get from you guys is just incredible, and I still can't believe that 2 years later, I am still pumping out content. I am still excited to do content because I'm gonna be honest, I was really worried that after the first couple months or even after the first year, I was gonna let it go. There are definitely some times where I'm like, you know, it's time to hang it up. But then I think about it and I'm like, no, it's not, because if you do that, you're gonna be upset, and who are you gonna scream comics to? So I want to thank everybody, new and old, who have been here, you know, 5 minutes, 2 years, longer than that, I don't know. Maybe you've been here forever and I just don't know it. But I am just so thankful for everybody, and I love you guys all so much. In celebration of my 2-year anniversary, 2 years, that's crazy to think about. I can't believe it, 2 years. In celebration of my 2-year anniversary, I plan on doing a fun Q&A at the end of the month. We did a fun Q&A when we hit 100 subscribers, which was like so long ago, it feels like. But this year, I want to do an even bigger and better Q&A. So please drop all of your burning questions, comic related or otherwise, down in the comments below. You can also DM me over on my Instagram. You can DM me on Twitter. Anywhere that you can find me and you got a question, just pop it over and I will answer it, okay? I will answer almost anything. Almost. That being said, I'm gonna wrap everything up. I've got a lot of stuff I have to put away. I've got a lot of books I gotta fit into the bookcase. But we can do it. I believe in us. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!